Hey guys, what's up? Back here with another movie review. Just went and seen Spider-Man Far From Home, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. I really like this movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I will, spoil stuff for you, so you've been warned. And so anyway, so with this movie, it basically picks up after, Infinity War. Not Infinity War, but Endgame. And, Peter Parker's back at school, and he's, getting ready for this school vacation. Class trip is like a science, it's a science class, is for like a science field trip. And they're going overseas to London. And Nick Fury and Maria Hill, see, the movie starts off with those two in Mexico, seeing this big old, rock guy. Basically, they were, balling up these tips of that kind of stuff, like these big creatures showing up all over. And then it cuts back to, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and they eventually go on their class trip. And he's basically going to try to have this big old thing planned to where he can get MJ alone and tell her how he feels. And this whole thing gets all messed up because they end up getting this big old creature from like the water, because they're on the little river, and Mysterio shows up and saves the day, and Peter Parker tries to help Mysterio. And the whole time, Nick Fury's trying to get a hold of Peter Parker because he needs his help. And so basically he finally kind of gets him over there. And when Spider-Man and Ned are in the hotel room, Nick Fury basically crashes it and says, that he needs his help. So basically, I thought it's kind of cool that he, recruits him, and then they go and actually meet Mysterio, and come to find out that he's from another planet, actually another Earth, 833 or something like that, and this one's like 616, I think is our Earth. And they kind of talk a little bit about the multiverse, and with that scene, that's really about all they really say anything about the multiverse, and in the Marvel multiverse. And they really don't explore much more than that one scene. And so so he's helping him. So Spider-Man basically is helping Mysterio with these things called elementals, and units of fire, earth, wind, water, and they basically is what destroyed his Earth. And the fire one is basically, the one that killed his Earth, and that's the strongest one out of them, and then needs his help to, kill it. So they basically, are fighting it, and then they kind of become friends. And so at one point, on a trip over there, Happy actually gives Peter Parker these sunglasses that were Tony Stark's. Because, this is like kind of after all his funeral and everything, after, Iron Man died. And he had these glasses, and the glasses is computerized glasses, and it connected to Peter Parker, and it was Edith. Even dead, I'm a hero, is that what it stands for? Kind of, just Tony Stark still being kind of cocky, and it's kind of funny. And then he's actually in this bar with Mysterio after they killed the fire elemental, and Peter Parker actually signs the glasses over to him because he doesn't want to be the new Iron Man. And in this scene, he actually kind of explains the glasses a little bit. That that I guess apparently pretty much what happened was that after Peter Parker gave the glasses to him and left, Mysterio ended up celebrating, saying that he got it back, and the whole bar was an illusion. And what it was all the people that were in there were working for him, and come to find out that he was the mastermind behind that program, and the hologram program that Tony Stark used. I think he's in Iron Man 2 or 3, or it might have been Civil War, where it was using it as a therapy session, and Mysterio was the brain behind that program, and Tony just stole it from him. And they were showing that there's people that he had planted in a couple of the different Iron Man movies, helping him to get back the program. And that's kind of interesting that, it's kind of going back a little bit how, he was kind of planting the seeds to get it back. And then, so for the rest of the movie, he's basically using that program to fake all these elemental attacks, through London and whatnot, and that the elementals kind of find out aren't even real. He's not even real. He just projecting, he's a real person, but I don't think that he's really from a different Earth. I think he was kind of lying about that, and they really don't say much anything else about any other multiverse, and I think he's from this Earth anyway. And he was kind of all on the ruse, and he was using the elementals as like a fake attack so that he could become a hero and save the world. And so he was, the students were trying to get out and go home, but he kept making them kind of go where he wanted them to, and he's going to try to kill them all. And Peter Parker finally figured it out, what was going on, and Nick Fury, he had this cool black suit that Nick Fury brought over, and then, they're fighting and everything, and then, he finally tells MJ how he feels about her, and he finally figures out that Mysterio, is using Tony's satellite to all his little drones to make all the elementals, project and everything, and then so they finally got that, and he ended up making a new suit. That's pretty cool. And then he finally defeats him, and come to find out that they said it was all program and everything, so they finally defeat him, and everything finally turns back to normal. And like you said, Peter Parker finally told MJ how he feels, and she really likes him too. And at one point in the movie, she actually figured out that he was Spider-Man, because in Homecoming, when he was at the Washington Monument, she was always started putting two and two together, that whenever Spider-Man was there, Parker was gone. So she finally, was kind of figured out, and he was kind of denying it, but he finally told her that he was, Spider-Man. And then, so like I said, so all ends well, that's, good. And then there are two post-credit scenes. The first one is, they're back in New York, and Spider-Man is taking MJ, throughout the city on his web and stuff, because he had a date and to do that. And then at the end of the scene, the news pops up there on the big billboard there, and the Daily Bugle is there. Then you have J. Jonah Jameson, and he's played by J.K. Simmons, and he was the Spider. He was in all the other Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, and with Tobey Maguire. So he's in this one, in this or the first post-credit scene, and then kind of find out that Mysterio had recorded this video right before he was killed, and he basically outed Spider-Man and told him that he was Peter Parker, and he showed a picture of it. And there's a part where early in the movie where Peter Parker had told the drones to stop, and Mysterio made it, dubbed it over to where it sounded like he was, killing him, and he outed him. So now everybody knows that Peter Parker was actually a Spider-Man. And you have to wait to the very last end of the movie. Then the other end credit scene is you see Maria Hill and Nick Fury driving back in the car, and then Maria Hill turns into a Skrull, and Nick Fury ends up turning into a Skrull as well. And if you remember from Captain Marvel, if you've ever seen that movie, the Skrulls, they're shapeshifters. So through this whole movie, Nick Fury and Maria Hill were the Skrulls. And he actually contacts the real Nick Fury, and he looks like he's on the beach, and he's telling you that he didn't know what to tell him when everybody was asking about the Avengers. So, kind of find out Nick Fury's on the ship full of Skrulls, and it's a massive ship, and they're up in space somewhere. And he's, alright, everybody back to work and stuff, so, I guess he was taking a vacation or something, and I guess that's where he was left after Endgame, I guess, so I really don't know what the heck he was doing in space. So that's kind of interesting. And there was no Stan Lee cameo in this one because I think he died before, they finished or could do it. So, no more cameos, even though they were funny. Well, that's going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like while you're at it. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, share it, and check out the rest of my content I do have on my channel. Loot Crate unboxings, movie reviews, comic books, a whole bunch of stuff. So make sure you check that out and subscribe. Till next time, peace out.